Alright, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner, classic, known classic. This is episode number 2996, Doubleshot number 2890. Here we're discussing Steel, Volume 2, Issues 2 through 5 and 9 through 20, along with the both annuals for the series. And I'm also discussing a Superboy trade. Now, with these issues of Steel for issues 2 through 5 is mostly about Steel fighting basically the bad guys appear in these issues, who didn't disappear prior to the Worlds Collide crossover. By the time Worlds Collide happens, like, all these villains are dropped. And you have villains like Colonel Thomas Whitson, Cowboy, and the Street Scrolls. We have the first appearance of a Melogrum, Alvin Bundy, and he appears just versus 2, 4, and 5. Yeah, it's like he fights them throughout these issues. We still have stuff with Natasha in here. And after dealing with these guys for these issues in particular, it's like, what? By the way, we have the first appearance of Lieutenant Sasha Barrel. We have Police Lieutenant who helps out Steel, and she's around for the first about 2 years of the book, and then she's dropped. Yeah, as for why, not sure why, but she's a good character. But yeah, but by issue 5, like, all these characters are gone. Yeah, a lot of these villains are just dropped from the book. Just not really sure why. Though issue 5 does have the debut of a character named Dr. Quack. Yes, where she becomes a very prominent character in this book. Not at the start per se, but a little bit afterwards she does. Yeah, because after Worlds Collide, she takes time off, and then briefly, and then she's back in the book for the last couple of years before the book eventually ends at issue 52. Yep. Now, of course, also, like I mentioned, by issue number 6, which is the Worlds Collide crossover, which I'm skipping over issue 6 to 8 due to the fact that I've reviewed these issues already. But as for the first few issues, it's pretty good, per se, and then move on to issue number 9, where the character Rosie Kurtz, who is a friend of Steel, she gets killed off. Yeah, a character debuted in the pages of Superman, the Man of Steel. Lois Samuelson has her die. Yes, and to look for a very short period of time. Yeah, and she was killed by Alter. Yes, a character that made his debut in just issue 0. Yes. And there's mystery surrounding him, per se. Yeah, and get this, book also features an appearance by Big Billy Burger, which debuted in Superman number 441. Yeah, John Buck created this place thinking, wait, Big Billy Burger? That name sounds familiar. Did it put on Arrow and the Flash? It did. It was actually the restaurant that connected the series, believe it or not. Yes, the Big Billy Burger stuff. Oh, by the way, the whole thing with Altair, the whole thing with him, he's basically part of a very brief story arc in this book. Yeah, a story arc that lasts for just 2 issues. Yeah, by issue 10, they kind of wrap this story up. And after appearing in their book, he's never seen again. Yeah, and then basically, starting issue 11, we start the storyline known as Maximum Orbit, where Maximum recruits Steel to the Extreme Justice Group. Yep, and they're actually here for an entire story arc for Steel, which lasts for 3 issues, which is a pretty interesting set of issues per se. And then this all take on this person was a cyborg mercenary. Like, okay, I guess Lois Simonson probably was asked by the writer of the book just to do, why not? And then we have Superman team up with Steel for an issue. I'm sure this probably was you shoot for him. We also debut as members of the group run by a woman named White Rabbit. And I believe this character is supposed to be an enemy of Steel, and she also didn't really appear very much at all. I mean, this was her first appearance since issue 0, and she's here for 3 issues, then she pops up in an annual, and that's it for her. It's like she was there at the beginning, and then she was dropped from the comics. So yeah, after a few issues battling her group, she's dropped from the book. Also, we do have this character named Double, who appeared in issue 14. This was Yeah, he was appearing in the book, and then by issue 16, he's gone for a little while. It comes back a few times after that. Now, some might think, wait, so you have characters appear in this book, appear for a very short period of time, and then never seen again? Yeah. By issue 17, we begin a brand new storyline, taking this guy called Chadi. And his running runs up, and he's here for 3 issues. 17 and 19. So yeah, Steel has to deal with him, plus a bunch of other stuff going on in the book. And by issue... By the way, also, Louise Simonson, I should point out that by issue, I think it was it 17, I think it was? Let's see. Okay, so by 16, Louise Simonson is off the book, and she's replaced by Dave Michelini for a few issues. Yeah, for issues 17 and 18 is Dave Michelini. 19 is actually Dave Michelini, but basically 20 is not Dave Michelini, it's Ruben Diaz, basically, and all still with a character named Lethal. And it is a one-shot character, appears as one issue, and never appears ever again. Yeah. Now, I gotta admit, the Steel issues are really good. And, of course, also, with this point, with issue 20, you're like, oh, with 20, I have, like, 32 issues left to go. Actually, 33. Now, in the case of the 2 annuals, the first annual is an Elseworld story, where kind of the premise of this one is, what if Steel became a superhero during the time of the slavery, during the American Civil War? This book is written by John Bodiva, who actually was the original writer of the book, with Judith Kozubert, my guess probably probably his wife, and the artwork book is still by Roberto Ramos. Like, interesting choice as a cover. The second annual is basically part of the year 1 stuff, which Steel debuts like an early versions art with hex shows part of his face. I'm guessing that was the book number Louis Simonson. We have first appearance of Clay Irons, who was Natasha's father. We also have Guy Gardner's superhero here, also have Amityville Industries. Okay, so Steel's outfit from this annual, which I'm going to show off this outfit here, because those of you who have ever seen the movie Steel, it's like you see this, you're like, wait, did DC Comics rip off the suit from the movie? Yes, this weird looking suit. And the answer is, yes, they did. They certainly did. Now, very interesting one, basically goes a little more into Steel's backstory. Especially with his brother, who apparently gets killed off in this annual. But, good issues overall. Fantastic. And then roughly 9 out of 10. Next up we have is basically a Superboy trailer, like I mentioned. This is Superboy, a celebration of 75 years. And all these Superboy stories are generally important to suit mythos. There it is. That's the cover for it. Now, these are your issues. Now, some issues we'll be skipping up because, well, I've discussed already. This book contains Adventure Comics 210, 247, 271, 369, 370. The second issue of Volume 2. Adventure Superman 501. DC Comics presents 86 Infinite Crisis 6. Lead Superheroes number 2. Not sure which one, I'll look up in a minute. Morphin Comics 101. Superboy Volume 4. Volume 1 issues 10 89. It's basically one story from both. Superboy Volume, they say it's 2 is actually Volume 4. Issue 59. Superboy and Elite Superheroes 233, 259. Superman 6, 10, 11. TN24, Young Justice. Now, issue 101. This basically... Now, this did not exist in the original Action Comics origin story. Oh, no, it did not. This came out roughly in the year of... Because I think that Superman's debut in 1939. This is about 6 years later. Basically, this expands upon the fact. Okay, I think if you anybody reading at this period of time, all people know about Superman is that he's from Krypton. Krypton itself didn't know much about it, not much of his parents. This book is noteworthy for the debut of Jor-El and his wife. I think her name was Laura L. I think her name was, yes. And this basically is also the first time we have debut of the pre-crisis Superboy. It's also the first story to feature Superboy. This, of course, is Superman's his story as a teenager. And there was served as inspiration for the Superboy TV show from the early 90s and the Smallville TV show of 2000s. And that's the most noteworthy thing about this issue. In Superboy number 10, a girl in Superboy's life. By the way, the Superboy issue written by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, who created the characters. Now, the girl Superboy's life. They're written by Bill Finger and John Suka. Now, what is the big noteworthy thing about this particular issue? This book is the debut of Lana Lang and her parents. Yes, Lana Lang, one of the many girlfriends of Superman over the years. In Avengers Superman 210, this book is noteworthy for the debut of Krypton the Superdog. Written by Otto Bender and art by Kurt Swan. Kurt Swan on the cover right here. 247, just basically, kind of in a way, this book is, I can't take this book already, the premise of the book is basically Superboy joins the lead superheroes. Next up is issue 271. This is called How Luthor Met Superboy. This issue indirectly serves as inspiration for the Smallville version of Lex Luthor. Basically, it's how Lex Luthor first met Superboy when he was a teenager, kind of ignoring present-day stuff, which is kind of weird. Superman's big brother from Superboy 89. This book was debut of Mon-El, which is a good book already. So moving on from there. Venture Comics 369-270. Skip issue because this is already along with the Superboy lead super issues because various trades. In the case of DC Comic Press 87, this basically a team between Superman and, from what I can tell, I think it was Earth Prime Superboy. And basically the backup story was that Superboy's origin story. That's pretty much basically what it was. The Eve of Crisis number 6 is basically the Dark Reflection. Now, New Kid, basically, that's the next portion here. We have 501, which I think is the first solo story for Superboy. 59 is basically just a standalone story written by returning Carl Kitzler. Yes, Superboy, yeah, he does return his book. Yeah, and pretty much in a way, this book is noteworthy for giving the name, declaring his real name to be Con-El before making Connor. It's mostly, but also stuff to do with basically stuff with Cadmus in this issue. Teen Titans, I've discussed already, along with Adventure Comics, the Young Justice one, that's probably been this book. The Superman stuff, that's basically the Superboy. I think that's basically about John Kent. Yeah, about John Kent. Mm-hmm. Now, I did find interesting we actually have debut of Super Prime, and also Laurie Lemon, who's basically just. Yeah, apparently she was a member of the Black Lantern at one point, and then she came back. Yeah. Yeah, Superboy Prime. Yeah. Of course, when you think of Superboy Prime, the first thing some people might think of is his famous line from Countdown. Saying to the Monarch, I'll kill you. I'll kill you to death, which is hilariously bad. Yep. But good book overall. I love it. It gave a little backstory to the characters. Um, I'm definitely looking forward to reading more of pre-crisis Superboy. I plan to review his book in the future. Right now, I'm focusing on reviewing the main book per se. Yeah, well, Volume 4. Now the plan is, some of my thinking, am I planning to review Volume 3 for the series? No, because that's an adaptation of the Superboy TV show. And I'm skipping that one. I'm going straight to basically, like, I'm kind of basically maybe thinking, like, as Steel finishes up, I might think of doing, like, Superboy Volume 1 along with Volume 4 in order to get it done. Yes. Definitely. Yeah. But not much to say about both books. In the case of the Superboy book, I give it roughly a 9 out of 10. But it's definitely very important for people who are fans of Superman. Check this book out because a lot of really good historical notes happen in this book, okay? So yeah, that's a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do this like button. Well, so I put this to you all tomorrow for another reviews, okay? Thanks you. Bye.